You can watch Silo Season 1 Episode 9 next week on Apple TV+, and we had to say right away that this one is big. We do know that there will be a second season at some point, but don't be surprised if we have to wait a long time to see it. The Getaway will be the final installment before the epic finale. Naturally, we will have ample time to consider a second season in the coming weeks and months. Keeping that in mind, may we just proceed to concentrate a little more on the present. Due to the fact that Billings has been such a fascinating character throughout the majority of the show, it does feel appropriate for him to receive a significant spotlight at this point. One thing Silo has done very well thus far is giving us chances to get to know each of these characters over time. By doing this, we can see where their journeys lead, which makes us infinitely happier. Additionally, they have done an excellent job of creating unpredictability. Just keep in mind that several characters disappeared during the first few episodes. You could have argued that they were all around for some time. We almost certainly anticipate that the events of The Getaway will continue into the conclusion. It's hard to think of anything else. Make sure to share right now in the comments section. Remember to check back for additional updates after you have done that. Juliet learned that Bernard was the one running the show in the silo, but she had no idea how much of a con he had been up to inside the silo. Juliet realized how much influence that man had over the lives of the silo's common residents as he watched each and every one of them through the cameras hidden behind the mirrors. Juliet wanted to learn why Marnes, Mayor Ruth, and her beloved Wilkins were killed by the regime, but she didn't want to start a war or a rebellion. Paul was aware that he would lose his job right away if the court found out about this condition. After Juliet escaped from captivity, Paul went to her home and discovered that Jean Robinson and her team of investigators were already there. Jean informed Paul that she was not authorized to grant him permission to look around, despite her understanding of why he wanted to do so. The officials had been strictly instructed by Bernard not to allow anyone to tamper with the locations where there was a possibility of discovering some evidence. However, Paul was far too curious and agitated to follow Robinson's instructions. He went inside the house after they left and found the same travel guide magazine that Gloria had. He had hidden it behind the mirror cabin. When Paul saw those pictures in the magazine, he was shocked. He was unaware that the ancestors of Silo were concealing such a significant fact from them. He burned the remainder of the magazine after tearing a page. Because he was aware that time was running out, Bernard was becoming restless in the interim. His team was unable to obtain even one potential lead that could provide information about Juliet's whereabouts. Even though they went to question Pete Nichols and Martha Walker, agents of the Judicial did not know where Juliet was hiding. Bernard discovered Juliet had met Lucas Kyle through it prior to her disappearance. Bernard made the threat that he would end Lucas's life if he didn't tell Lucas where Juliet had gone when Lucas was summoned for questioning. Juliet had not told Lucas anything, but rather he recollected that the hard drive that she was requesting that he keep with him had the number 18 imprinted on it. Juliet had faith in Lucas and believed that because he was such a curious individual, Lucas would aid her in the future. However, Lucas Kyle proved to be a disappointment because he not only failed to assist Juliet, but also provided Bernard with additional information, making it simple for them to locate her. Although Lucas assured Bernard that he had nothing to do with Juliet's plans, Bernard nevertheless made the decision to keep Lucas in custody until he got his hands on Juliet.